Welcome back, everybody, to TalkingWithHeroes.com. I am Bob Calvert, your host, behind the camera, and we're here in Kalsu, Iraq, with the 2nd Battalion, 69th Armored Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 3rd ID, from Fort Bennings. We're with the COBRA Company, and we're here right now with Captain Matt Hunter. Welcome, sir, to Talking with Heroes.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out here and talking to all of us.
Absolutely, it's an honor to do this. Could you tell the people watching this a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've served?
I'm Captain Matt Hunter. I'm from Bolingbrook, Illinois originally. Right now I live in Columbus, Georgia. I've been in the Army for about 7.5 years. I spent the majority of my career in Georgia with 269 Armor. Right now I'm the company commander of Charlie Company 269. This is my 3rd deployment. I was in OIF 3 in 2005 and OIF 5 2007 and 2008, and this is my 3rd deployment here in 2010.
Okay, that's great. Could you just share with the people watching this, since you've been on 3 different deployments now, talk about the changes you've seen, the progress you've seen?
There's been quite a bit of progress. Looking back on it, it's not something you really notice throughout the course of a single deployment. Looking back, when I came in as a lieutenant in 2005, when we were first here, we worked with the Iraqi Army, and there were a lot of issues that were not quite as competent as we had hoped. They were not quite as skilled. And throughout the years as we've worked on that, that's probably the biggest change I've noticed since coming back this 3rd time, is that the Iraqi Army and the Iraqi police, they've really become very, very competent and confident force. They know what their job is. They have a strong sense of duty and purpose, and they're really ready to take on the job without our assistance. And I think that was one of the major goals, obviously, in our job over here. And I think overall that's the most satisfying thing, is knowing that when we leave that they'll be able to act on their own, and they're doing so now. Overall the people have really started to rebuild their lives in the cities. There was a lot of unemployment when we first showed. There was a lot of people still trying to rebound from the initial invasion, rebuild their homes, rebuild their lives. And what we see now is there's still a good deal of unemployment, but people have set up shops, they've rebuilt their farms, they've rebuilt their cities, and they're moving on with their lives. And that's perhaps the most rewarding thing, is to see this country build itself back up and begin to move on.
Talk about this deployment, because now finally American people are starting to hear about this transition, and of course we see the news, like a striker brigade going home, and but we still have like 50,000 soldiers here. It's a different mission though.
It's very different. When the last 2 deployments, we were used to coming in and taking the lead and doing all the planning, and it was an American mission with Iraqi help. And this time around, especially dealing directly with the Iraqi Army and Iraqi police, I found that it's an Iraqi mission with American help, which is comforting to know. We are not the driving force anymore. We're an advise and assist brigade. That's why the striker brigade was the last brigade that was classified as a combat brigade. We are an advise and assist brigade. We're here to facilitate and to help the Iraqis in their missions and do their job. And it's, from my perspective, after being here 2 times before, it's very comforting to know that the burden is not on us to make it happen. And it's very, I appreciate the fact that the Iraqi Army and the Iraqi police want to do this job, and they want us to take a step back and let them work.
I remember coming out here before the surge and after the surge, and it was amazing the turnaround when a lot of the Iraqi people finally said no to Al-Qaeda, because they were killing them. And we heard a lot in the news about this recent Baghdad And now Al-Qaeda proudly takes responsibility, which is amazing to me, killing all these people. The determination of the Iraqi people seems to get more and more to stop these people.
Absolutely. Right? We started to see it at the end of our rotation in 2005, as we were in Ramadi for the last few months, and we started getting intelligence reports, and we started hearing firefights at night, and it wasn't involving U.S. soldiers, and we started getting the reports that it was the local tribes who were fed up with Al-Qaeda and some of the other extremist groups that were attacking us, because they knew that throughout all that violence, it was the local community that suffered. And so that's when they started fighting back, and that became the beginning of the awakening movement over in Anbar province, which eventually spread throughout the country. And you mentioned the surge, and we saw it a lot during the surge. The locals want to just move on with their lives. Mm-hmm. They've been through enough. They want to stop the violence and just be able to move on and provide for their family, just like anyone else would. And they understand that it's not the coalition forces and it's not the Iraqi army and Iraqi police that are instigating the violence. And so they've really started to take a stand against these extremist networks, and that's one of the fundamentals of counterinsurgency is to deny these groups safe haven. And you can't do that without the support of the local population, which is a big piece of what we do. We help them rebuild. We help them set up shops. We help them with their farms. We help them with irrigation. We help them get water projects so they can get drinking water out to some of the more remote areas. And that all builds up to helping them move on with their lives and gains us support, so that maybe they're not out there physically stopping these guys, but they're not afraid to pick up the phone and say, I've seen this, I need someone to come look at these guys.
Yeah, and they can tell when somebody comes into their community and they're a stranger. It's like any of our neighborhoods with neighborhood watches.
Yes, they
right?
do. Okay. The local population is very tight-knit community. It's all very tribally based. You have generations and generations from the same family still living in the same area, and they know who belongs in their area and who doesn't. And years ago, they were afraid to tell anybody because they were afraid of what would happen to them. But now they're fed up, and they have trust in the Iraqi army and the Iraqi security forces to protect them. So they will pick up the phone, they will call and say, hey, there's someone that's not supposed to be here, and he's doing some illegal things.
I asked the guys out there, we were talking about care packages and letters from home, and it's good for the people back home that put a lot of effort into this, yes. But we're also trying to encourage more people to get involved, maybe more churches, more people helping organizations like Soldiers Angels and other groups. And so what is your experience as the commander here?
Care packages it's one of the best things for morale across the board. It's one thing to get a package from your wife or parents. I mean, that's always good, because you'll open it up and they send the stuff that they know you want, the stuff they know you like. And then there's a number of other organizations that help us out. Hugs for Soldiers, mm-hmm. The ladies for Hugs for Soldiers from Duluth, Georgia. They've really been one of the major organizations that supported our unit. And it's getting a package that you don't expect from someone you don't know, to know that people back home are thinking about you and support you and go through the time and effort to get this together. It means something to us, and it really helps with morale. The soldiers really do appreciate it.
And Columbus, Georgia, the surrounding area, it's like where I live, like Fort Carson, Colorado Springs, they're very supportive of the troops.
Yes.
I actually have a brother that serves there, Captain Calvert. He's at the lab out there at Fort Bennings. So
okay.
I guess that's a way of saying hi to him, huh? Speaking of saying hi, would you like to give a shout out to some family and friends back home?
Sure. I'd like to say hi to my wife Chelsea back home. I love you, and I'll see you soon. And to my parents and my sister back home in Illinois. I'll see you guys shortly. Love you guys and miss you.
Great. Thank you very much for your service to our country, and I look forward to seeing you at Fort Benning. I'll be out there too.
I do too.
After you get back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, folks, we're here in Iraq with Fort Benning soldiers on TalkingWithHeroes.com. Stay tuned for more videos on our YouTube page. And let other people know about these videos. Let's get the word out to millions of Americans. There is progress here, a lot of progress. Thank you very much.